Hello and welcome back to the Weekly Wraparound show. It's been a while. We are keen to get ready for the 2024-2025 AWIHL season, but of course we are just coming off a weekend of Trans-Tasman action between Australia and New Zealand, the Aussie Flyers and the Ice Ferns. And we have a special guest here to break down the action for us, Kirsty Venus from the Adelaide Rush. Kirsty, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Going pretty good. I'm here, of course, with Sean O'Connor and Eric Brook. Eric Brook was doing all the commentating from the central commentary position at Hunter Ice Skating Stadium. How are you guys both doing?
Doing super. Actually managed to get myself an Australian jersey on the weekend, which was awesome, and it's a large and I fit into it, so that's rather sweet.
I was going to say, Eric, you've also got a scarf there. Well, how the hell did you get an Australian
you got all the merch.
scarf?
Well, I managed to get in. I actually didn't find out about the merch because I was so busy getting pre-game done on Saturday and then Saturday's game. I didn't actually find out until, shout out to Sheepy, I saw him purchasing a jersey. And so I thought, first thing on Sunday, that's what I got to do before I get too busy. So I managed to pick up a jersey. It fits, awesome. Picked up a scarf. And the other one, of course, is from the IHA tournament that was at HIS a little bit earlier on in July.
Nice. Oh, looks good. I'm going quite well. I'm very jealous of Eric's scarf. I really want that scarf.
Well, I've got one. Maybe I'll gift it to you.
Oh, thanks, Kirsty.
Well, apparently the IHA shop will be going online soon, from what I was told on the weekend. So keep your eyes open. And I'm also
even better, buy it from the shop.
I'm even looking for a New Zealand jersey.
We need some sales. We need to be raising money for our national teams.
Yep, we do.
And speaking of national teams, Kirsty, it was earlier this year, wasn't it? Was the first time that you represented Australia at Worlds, and then of course representing Australia at Trans-Tasman. Had that been a goal for a while for you to represent Australia, or how did that kind of come about?
Honestly, no, it wasn't a goal, as I only became a citizen last year. So it kind of all just flowed on from that, really. And I had a conversation with Joey Rezek, who asked about my citizenship status, and that they want to put a team together that are really serious about getting gold and stuff like that. So I had that conversation, which then led into me getting my citizenship fast tracked. And then went away, and it was a great decision for me to make, was to get my citizenship, because I just had the best time.
Yeah. Is there a player that you like being on the same team with, as opposed to facing off against them? Like, is there someone even during the Trans-Tasman weekend that you're like, oh my goodness, I'm glad I'm on the same team as you?
Honestly, all the girls are such good value, and getting to know them away from playing against them has been a really great opportunity, because you get to then learn from them and experience from them, as opposed to like going head to head. We have the same goal, and we're like striving for that together. So Sarah Salmons is a funny one from Perth. She sits next to me in the stall usually. We have a little bit of banter. So yeah, she's a good one.
And Christina Julien, she made her debut for Australia as well, and scored that goal from our opening kind of montage.
Yeah, the wraparound. Oh, she's a gun.
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting for a wraparound goal to use as the intro to the Weekly Wraparound show.
Yeah. It was very fitting. So.
Yeah.
GG. On that, sweet graphics, mate. The new intro, it's fresh.
Yeah, no, that's what, a toddler who's too tired to actually move around and just like kind of lazes on the couch, that lets you do some work. So shout out to Tilly. If you're listening in bed, you better not be.
I think it's past a bedtime, JJ.
Yeah, definitely is. But that first game, a 5-0 win. Sasha King gets 12 save shutout. 2 goals for Lindsay Klinik, 2 goals for Christina Julien, and a goal for Tash Ferrier.
Yeah.
How much was the room buzzing? Because it is a great rivalry between Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, so obviously the fact that we got there a couple of days earlier for somewhat of a little training camp. So we had training on the Thursday. We had 2 trainings on the Friday plus our fitness testing. So, and obviously in between meetings and everything with the coaches, which is, it's a lot to take in, especially when you haven't played with each other, for 6 months. But we're all there for the same reason. We all bought in and, we all have that common goal. So got around each other, fought through the fatigue. We were on the buzz of obviously having this first ever women's Trans-Tasman, and we really wanted to show a good representation of ourselves and what we can achieve and what we can do at this level. So, and I think we really proved that, and we were all ecstatic about it. So it was great to come out, especially with the win on Saturday, but also Sunday as well.
What I was most pleased about, there wasn't, for instance, a rush line and an inferno line and an ice line and a lightning line. The lines were mixed up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in these types of situations where we don't actually get to come together frequently to explore different options, it's pretty much you're thrown in at the deep end. Are you going to work together? Are you going to work together? And it's a bit of mixed match until you find the right combinations. But Marcus, I think, he didn't do too much changing in the lines. I think he pretty much well figured it out. He does his research and feel like he has a good understanding of who will work well with each other and the different dynamics within the team. So yeah, I think good planning on their behalf, and it was just a matter of seeing where people slot in here and there and just trial and error, really.
Do you see the Trans-Tasman as a good, prep for Worlds?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, more hockey, the better, and especially the more we can get together, the more successful I think we're going to be in the future. Ideally, a few more type of these high-level tournaments or competitive games or exhibition series would be better. But it's a start for now, and I feel like when we face off against each other in the AWIHL season, we're all going to work on our own personal skills and everything like that, but be a good opportunity to just get the legs fit ready for April.
How good was it for the team to actually play for Australia in Australia compared to going to the other side of the world?
Yeah, I think it definitely meant a lot to some of the girls, especially that have played on the team for years, like Kate Tahima, who, some people that might not have had that opportunity. So it really means a lot to them, especially to have family come and watch, because, it's quite expensive to travel. Not everybody has the luxury of being able to come and support you. So for people to have access to it on home soil, I think that's really special.
And what sort of intel did you have on the Kiwis beforehand?
Not overly a lot. I think they took a relatively mixed team. So we played them obviously at the World Championships in Turkey. And from what my understanding is, there was 12 players from that World Championships playing in the Trans-Tasman series. So there was still a fair few other players that, hadn't played against. So it's hard to see what to expect, but they were also off the back of a season as well. So the fact that we're off season, coming into pre-season for AWIHL, gave them a pretty good contest. We were pretty fit, I think, which was good.
Now, some people had played over winter. Did you play over your winter?
Since getting back from Worlds, I took a little bit of a break. Played a couple of games here and there, like A-grade drop-in hockey, but I didn't really commit to much. Just kind of needed a break because you train so hard and so vigorously up until that point, especially through the AWIHL season as well. Plus, you've got your specific training program for Worlds to prepare you for Worlds. It's kind of just like you dedicate so much and you give up so much time, and your whole family has to work around you. So it was nice to have a bit of a break when I got back.
And I know. Sorry, go Sean.
I know. I was just going to say, just on that, like with the, because maybe some people don't know, but a lot of this sport is self-funded. So both playing domestically and internationally. Talk us through kind of what impact that has, and also the importance of getting sponsorship and how people can kind of help out.
Yeah, so there's obviously a few different ways you can help out, and not just obviously for our team. You can always help an individual. We've got the Australian Sports Foundation, and I'm pretty sure most teams have a link for that. There's some individual profiles as well that people can donate to, and it's all tax deductible as well, which really helps. It's self-funded, and obviously since COVID, the fees have gone up exponentially, and it costs us $3,800 for an AWIHL season. I mean, which is good value, but it's a lot of money to personally bear that financial burden. So any sponsors kind of help, and through the ASF, the Sports Foundation, it's tax deductible, and you could donate, $6, your coffee, your morning coffee, or just a small amount. Like a little goes a long way, and it's really important that we get people behind us to help keep growing the sport, because it has grown a lot over the last couple of years.
So ballpark figure, what would you be paying to represent Australia at Worlds?
Well, Worlds most recently was $4,500.
I imagine Worlds would be quite different depending on where it is.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, for what you get, I had a great experience. We had a training camp, I could not fault the trip whatsoever. And I think it's great value for what you get and what you can get out of it. But it's still a lot of money at the end of the day. It's not, $1,000. It's a significant amount.
It's why you typically see a lot of players trying to raise funds to help them represent Australia. Yeah,
definitely. And we do rely heavily on donations and sponsorship and things like that. So anyone in any way that can help out, little or small, it really does go a long way, and it does mean a lot to us individually, as teams, as a cohort of female athletes, and just in general, it helps lift the league and makes the hockey better. We can then entice, people from overseas to come. It means more than you think it probably does. It's not just about it being financial. It's just grows everything.
So you think you got the amount that you mentioned for AWIHL, you've got the amount that you mentioned for Worlds. As I mentioned, people playing winter as well. And then if you're young enough, if you're in the U18 and you represent U18, and then there's senior women's national team, and some people do that. They do both in the one season. It's a lot of points.
How I'd love to be under 18 again. Ask my parents to pay for me. Can I do that as a 34-year-old? They'll probably show me the door. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's a perfect Christmas gift. Come on.
Yeah. I'll be like, that's your Christmas gifts until you're 90.
So we were chatting a little bit beforehand, Kirsty, about your being from Solihull in the UK.
Good old Solihull in Birmingham.
So talk us through your journey, starting out playing in Birmingham, and going from one hockey hotbed to another here in Australia. Kind of what happened, what was driving you, and what's been some of the fun stuff along the way?
Oh, well, I don't know how long we've got on this podcast, but dates back 20 plus years. So I started playing hockey when I was about 10. Both my brothers play as well. So family full of hockey players. Went through the junior programs in the UK, and I did dabble a bit with Great Britain ice hockey women's team as well in the under 18s and the women's. Then I had a few other opportunities to potentially play in Sweden and Europe, but I had a friend here, Beth Kavanagh. She's been out of the scene for a while, but she kind of messaged me and was like, hey, want to come to Australia? And I was like, yeah, of course. And that's kind of how I ended up here, and I just never left.
You just stayed in Adelaide the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much. I loved it. I just had the best time. I thought the community and the hockey culture here was too good to leave, really. Everyone just so nice and supportive. It was a huge community, and I think that's the difference, is that there's the one rink here, so everybody all comes together all the time, whereas obviously the UK, there's a rink every 20, 30 minutes maybe, so you've got a bunch of different people. You're always playing with different people here, there and everywhere. So I really enjoyed that. You could just go to drop-in hockey and see. I was on the ice like 5-6 times a week at one point. I just loved it. It was great. But I wouldn't have got that like back in the UK.
I know I spoke to a couple of players during the intermission, sort of just leaning from the central commentary position, and there were some pretty spent legs when you consider training on Thursday and Friday. Is that right? And then the games on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes. So it was intense, but that's what we train for. That's what we love to do. We've been really lucky to have an off-season program from Kira, who does Inside Edge hockey, like through the national team program, which was compulsory. But I think a lot of the girls were still on a high after Worlds and just wanting to keep training. And we got the silver, unfortunately. So everyone's mindset is we want that gold now. And I think everybody kind of got into like motivation. And we knew this was happening, which kind of give everyone a little kick up the bum to keep everyone training and keep fit. So that's what really helped me anyway, was motivating me to know that we've got this Trans-Tasman series. You don't want to show up not fit and sluggish and be a bad representation for the national team. So it was really important for me to make sure I kept in the gym, and so same for the other girls as well, I think.
I know Shana Godfrey mentioned on the local news here in Newcastle, and I'll just paraphrase it here, the basic intent was it doesn't matter if your name's Shana Godfrey, how long you've been on the team, how many goals you've scored. Nobody's got their place set in the team. There's lots of young players that are pushing their way up. Can you talk about some of the younger players that you've had something to do with over the last weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not sure if you realise in the D department, majority of them are under 18. So we've got like Katrina Rapchuk, Gabby Arps, Lily Roberts. Marnie, she's young too. I think she's only 21, maybe 20, not sure. But anyway, the kids that are on the under 18s team as well, they're insane. Like, I just can't believe how like beyond the years that they are, like their knowledge. And I think getting them involved so early in these types of programs, especially not just from the under 18s, because obviously they're going to gain and learn a lot of skills and how it's run from that, but then stepping up to the next level where it's the women's, which is a whole different ball game, to give them that insider experience and that insight at such an early age is going to be very valuable for the future of the team, that's for sure.
And you were recently added to the Adelaide Rush leadership group, and the social media post that I mentioned specifically the work that you've done with some of the players. Through some of the Adelaide players that are up and coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great honour, obviously, to be a part of any leadership group, especially of a team that you've played for many years now, and to see the growth that it's had, and to be an assistant captain is really heartwarming for me, especially because there are such younger girls, and like Alana Holub, for example. I remember seeing her after games, like coming up to us asking her to sign a jersey or a stick, and now I play with her on the team, and I've like helped encourage her and mentor her into the kind of player that she is or becoming, which is really good. We've got quite a few young up-and-coming girls as well. 2 other girls that are overseas at the moment as well at hockey academies. So, yeah, the Rush is, I mean, it's taken us a while to get here, I think. Like, we've had a very big build up slowly, and then obviously COVID, we kind of plummeted a little bit, but we're definitely on the up now, and everyone's so committed and driven to win this season, and just in general, everyone's got the buy-in at this point, which is good. So
yeah, you guys had a pretty good season last year. You guys got back into finals and did quite well. I mean, you came 3rd, but yeah, overall a pretty good season, especially for the longer season than it was that we've had previously. So how was it playing a longer season than previous?
Loved it. More games the merrier for me. I'd play every weekend if I could. 2 games. I don't know if my body would tell me the same thing, but my mind is still like just wants to go, go, go all the time. So I would love a longer season, even still. Maybe when the Ducks get involved. I think next season, if that goes ahead, I'm sure it will. But that will be even better, more games, but then probably more fees. So yeah, sponsor us, please.
I know.
Yeah, what's your take on the Ducks, by the way?
That snowballed quick. I think it's great. I think, you know, the only issue that I is not really an issue is that when we play hockey, we want it to be competitive. We want it to be close. We want to fight for that W. Do you know what I mean? No one wants to go into a game knowing that, oh, this could be a wipeout 10-0. And I know the exhibition games were exhibition games, so they may improve once they get imports, that type of thing, and they'll just have to build sort of like we have. But I remember us as the Rush being that team that people were caning like 15-0, and you know, you want it to be competitive. You want everybody to sort of you want it to be neck and neck. You don't want the obvious people to win all the time. So it would be good to have them. However, I know they're trying to get their level up so that it is going to be more competitive, which will be good, and I'm sure it will eventually get there. I mean, it was the same with the Perth Inferno as well when they kind of started in the league, and then look at them now. So, yeah, it's hard to say. I think it's only going to do the good for the game, basically.
I know I said during commentary over the weekend, can we do this again next weekend? The atmosphere seemed really good. It wasn't a full stadium, but the atmosphere both on the ice and off the ice was really great. How did you see the vibe of the whole weekend, so to speak?
Yeah, I loved it. It was great, especially because the crowd was very vocal, and you know, being a rowdy Brit, we love a chant here and there. We love people in the crowd to really get into it, especially if there's like a little hit here and there, or you know, something that gets the crowd going, and it just lifts up the atmosphere, it lifts up the energy overall. So I loved it. I love the crowds.
I would love to see this series turn into like a multi-venue series, like over a number of weekends, right? Like,
no, that'd be awesome. We do like a little tour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, tour. How awesome would that be?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? That was my first time at Newcastle, and I don't know, maybe it was the venue that made it more obvious, but I was sitting in the grandstand, the bottom row, so closest to the glass. So you notice when people are walking past because you're not elevated, and there would be people streaming past all the time during the play. Am I getting old and cranky, or is there like some sort of etiquette where you only walk out to get food and stuff during the whistles, like during the break?
Well, in my opinion, I think, like, I'm just going off my brother's games, for example. He used to play in the Elite League in the UK, so that's their top league. And you weren't allowed. There'd be stewards there, and like you'd try and just sneak in, and you'd be like, whatever, it's just a steward. You're not going to stop me. And they're like, hell no, you're not going through here, just so you don't stop people's views.
Yeah,
so maybe
this happens in Canberra too.
Eric, maybe you just need to put you in a bouncer's outfit or like security or something.
Oh, the amount of times that it's happened, as Sean said, in Canberra. They're famous for it on the Central Coast with Verona at Rhinos games. The amount of people who stand in front of our cameras is just amazing.
I keep trying to tell people, no, just wait. You know, wait till there's a break in play or something, and then go.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. We do have
one thing I will say as well quickly. Caitlin. Embarrass me. One thing I will say is it was a great experience going back to the crowd, just quickly. At the end, doing the stick tap around the ice rink, that almost made me shed a tear, only because you've got these people that value you and appreciate, you know, your love for the game as well as what you've just done and left out there against New Zealand, and just all the little kids, like the little girls, the little boys, just so happy and just so like cheering us on. It was really heartwarming. It was really nice.
So that's become a tradition here in Canberra with the Brave. They do this after every game. And it really gets all the kids really involved and really excited.
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling for the players as well. I just think overall it's a good culture to foster.
Yeah, for sure. I loved it.
But we do have some love in the comments, obviously from your teammate Caitlin, who was with you, and Sarah Salmon from the locker stall next to you to the comments. So following you everywhere, Kirsty.
God, I'm gonna cringe so hard after this. They're gonna give me.
But we do have Sean did some wonderful graphics. It would be remiss of me not to show them. That was obviously the score for the first game, 5-0 to Australia. Dominant performance, 40 shots to 12. 23 of those shots were from high danger areas. Sasha King with the 12 save shutout. And then in the next game, Lachlan Hyde, holy dooly. She made 51 saves on 54 shots. To keep New Zealand in the game and Australia. I told you earlier, Kirsty, the most dominant 3-2 victory statistically that we'll probably see in a while.
I tell you what,
I feel like on Sunday we might have just not lost the legs, but I feel like sometimes, not to make excuses, of course, like at least we still won, and I think we fought pretty hard. But just in general, it's a lot of information to process, backing up another game as well. And New Zealand came out hard. It's a rivalry series. They weren't going to go easy on us. And
especially after losing 5-0 the night before, right? Like, they're just like, no, exactly. We're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, exactly. So props to them, honestly. They did give us a run for our money on Sunday, that's for sure.
Did you notice that they seemed to get better the further that the weekend went?
Yeah, they did actually. I think that also stems maybe from their fitness off the back of the season. And I didn't notice on Sunday maybe we got a bit sloppy at times and taking a few shortcuts in terms of, like stupid penalties and not keeping the legs moving and not stop-start hockey, like the basic fundamentals, like the 1% things that you need to do. But yeah, I think
you guys go out partying after Saturday night?
Nah, we were too tired. We had a couple of beers and ate some greasy food.
We do have some more love in the chat. Biggest on the team, Amber Bedell, and the coach. Let's go, Kirsty, Jeff Fode, or Fody, as you were calling him. And then we've got Peter Podlahar. What a pick! I think, Sean, did you use one of Jess Fuller's?
Yeah, the second game one was from Peter. It's a really good picture. Like the emotion that he captured in that was just amazing.
Yeah, so make sure you give Injected Ideas Photography a follow on Facebook and Insta, and Jess Fuller Hockey Photography on Facebook and Insta as well. The wonderful photographers for the sport. We do have, we're going to get, this is obviously a lovely pick. I believe that was Peter Podlahar, Injected Ideas. All the Adelaide Rush personnel, the 4.
Dream team.
Absolutely.
Perhaps the next thing is they're going to lift the trophy, right? The end of this year? Well, next year.
That's what we're striving for. 2 golds next year for us.
Speaking of which, here is the squad, the Rush squad. Can I get you to confirm, is Madeline Langevin, does she count as a local this season and not an import?
No, she doesn't. She's technically an import.
Okay. So there's Madeline Langevin as an import, Jordan Corbita, Aspen Cooper, and then Sierra Moroney or Kamaya Tuppo both return. Are they imports as well?
Yes, -1. So Aspen is a Aussie citizen.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Yeah.
So she doesn't count. Before you all come for us to say we've got too many imports.
Well, I know the rule last season, because the rule is that if you finish last, you can play 4 imports in a game, whereas other teams can only play 3. Sydney, of course, finished 4th last. They finished last season. But I've only seen 1 import on their squad, but that may be I may be
Yeah,
mistaken.
well,
So I'm not sure if they're planning on playing the 4.
Yeah, well, we have had confirmation that I think all teams get 4 imports now. So, well, I don't know. Somebody sent me a little screenshot of the rule thing, but apparently it's 4 imports.
I have to go see the new regulations, Gigi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, we'll wait. You know, they'll obviously send all the changes out to the media, so we should be right. They'll let us know.
Yeah, we're really lucky. We've got some returning imports and some new imports.
Yeah, I think returning imports is always a big bonus.
Yeah.
Does your job, Kirsty, does that help you when both yourself and Maya Tupper are breaking forecheckers' ankles?
That's hilarious. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And Aspen is a D as well, so she's going to add. I mean, with Maya, even last season, she added a lot of depth and experience. Now we've got Aspen as well, who's an absolute gun. She's going to then add that next layer. So we're looking like a really cohesive, solid team at the moment. We're definitely putting in the work off the ice as well as on the ice. So yeah, really excited for what the season has in store, to be honest. I mean, it's going to, the way we've built it and the culture that we've got, just on and off the ice, you're like, yeah, we're going to smash it, hopefully.
When would you have come together as a rush squad to start pre-season?
Well, we've been doing pre-season the last, say, 2 months, I would say. We started with tryouts, so 3 on-ice sessions, and then we did some off-ice pre-season, like testing and a few sessions that way. So we've been consistently in the gym now twice a week for the last couple of months. And we must be doing something right, because a couple of the girls made a comment at the Trans-Tasman saying, God, you guys are looking really fit, you're looking really fast, and, you know, it's shaking them in their boots a little bit, I think.
Yeah, well, I had that conversation, I think, with Phil Taylor, where it was like we both individually were like, you could not tell the team that was coming off an off season. You know, you looked that Saturday, the Aussie Flyers had plenty of jump, pardon the pun, and really took it to the Ice Ferns. I was going to ask about Emma Moonen. We saw her a little bit with the Sydney Sirens last season, made an outstanding save, I think, on Sarah Salmon's breakaway save in the game against the Inferno. I was with her and Gabby Arps and Jared Arps in a golf kind of group for the Sirens Golf Day, which was awesome. And she's like a character. I saw that she's been training with like Anand Oberoi with Obi's goalies over the last couple of months. Has she joined the team, and what's kind of your perspective on her?
Yeah, so she's joined the team, and obviously, of course, we're really happy to have her involved now in the rush. Personally, I haven't had many dealings with her. I haven't seen her play. I did watch some of the games of Vauxhall while I was overseas, and, you know, she did a great job there. So really looking forward to having her as part of the team. From my understanding, because obviously we can't train with her, unfortunately, for game weekends, she'll be flying in on the Thursday. Like, we have our trainings on the Thursday. She'll be flying in a bit earlier so we can train together before game weekends. But yeah, she has access to the off-ice program that we have, because we do it through an app, so she can do that in her own time, like remotely. Doesn't need to be with the team. She just misses out on, obviously, all the vibes. But really happy to have her as part of the group, and especially for her to be able to, I don't know, prove herself in the A-Dub and, yeah, take us to victory.
It might seem like a really obvious question, but I'll ask it anyway. Why are you playing D? A lot of people, when they grow up, they play hockey. They want to score all the goals, but you're playing D.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the luxury about being a defender is that you do have the opportunity to go up front at times. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. And obviously you have to maintain a good balance there. You don't want to do that too much. But I find that it's nice to, I don't know, I like skating backwards as well, I guess. I can skate backwards better than I can skate forwards, probably.
I did notice on the stats that the New Zealand Ice fans gave us, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Their highest goal scorer in Ice fans out of all the people that were on the team was actually one of their D. And I said to the team,
really?
I said, yeah, it's a bit strange having your D being the highest scorer, but she had been playing forward before that and is now playing D.
Yeah. She probably might have a ripper from the point as well.
Yeah, that also helps. But I know since I've been commentating with you, you've scored quite a few goals. So you tend to grab the team on your back and say, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to, and sometimes you just got to get the puck, you build up a bit of momentum, and you think, you know what, I'm just going to go for it now. Just go for it, and hopefully it will lift the team. And especially when you score, the team gets, I don't know, it's just another wave of energy. Excuse me. So that really helps. And now we've got a lot more depth in the team that, you know, I'm going to be able to focus on my role as a D and just add value as a defender as opposed to going up front.
Yeah, try and minimize all of those shots against. Speaking of Gigi, you had amazing stats from the weekend. Do you have any stats for defenders?
Defenders?
Yeah.
He doesn't care about defenders, obviously.
Well, I just noticed in hockey there seems to be almost no stats for defenders other than this defender is an offensive defender because they score goals.
So I have written an article already, which I'm going to publish over the next couple of days about this problem, because I've been trying to apply. I don't know if you're familiar with like the game score kind of metric, which Dom Lashijan with the Athletic he does for the NHL, and it basically assigns a value to kind of events on the ice. And the problem that we have here in Australia is that the events aren't really tracked. You know, you can build a model, an NHL analytics model, without watching a game. All the stats are there: shot blocks, shot locations, everything. It's all there in a nice little easy package for you. With the AW and the AI, that's not the case. We don't have individual shot counts, for example. So if you want that data, you've got to do it yourself. And you know, which is something that I'm planning to do this season. But with forwards, stats are a lot more easier to get because of the camera angle. The camera is shooting at the back of the player, which shows the player number. So when you've got single camera games, if you're trying to track shot blocks, which I was trying to do for Trans-Tasman, and zone exits and breakout passes, etc., players on the ice, it's almost impossible, and it's definitely impossible to do it accurately. So for defense, the metrics, you're already going uphill. You're in a battle to try to get stuff. So it's why I've had to kind of apply Dom's model, kind of adjust it pragmatically to the AW. And if you're a defensive defenseman who gets 9 shot blocks a game, or is really good at breakout passes and zone exits and denying zone entries, you're just not going to get recognized because we've got a single camera. We just can't track who's on the ice at a time and who's.
You know what you should do, Gigi? You need to get the defenders to send in proof of their bruises. That will tell you how many block shots they've done. Because I've got at least 5, I can tell you right now.
Well, there was one, and I wanted to clip it. I didn't get time today to clip it, but towards in the first period of that game against New Zealand, it was with about 12 minutes left in the first period, and New Zealand were in the power play, 5-on-3 power play. And towards the end of it, you blocked a shot, kicked a shot with your shin. It got put out into the neutral zone by your defensive partner. The penalty expired. The puck came back into the zone. You passed the puck out of the zone, and then at 11:40, Australia scored. and you weren't, according to my stats, you were like the third last player to touch it, so you don't even get a secondary assist for that.
Yeah.
But that's something that, you know, the stats, you'd love to be able to get a stat that says, yes, this is, you know, this is how valuable a player is, and recognize, you know, hidden contributions. But at the
Yeah, for
moment,
sure.
with what we have, it's very difficult. Like, what value do you put on that? But you cannot deny that was a huge part of getting that first goal. But on the stat sheet, it's not recognized. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. The dear, the unsung heroes, you know, we put the effort in there to get the goals, and you know, it's not just about playing D, and like, of course, yeah, blocking shots is great, but it's then creating that play after you've blocked the shot and getting the puck out the zone so that the forwards can do their job and go down and get the goals for us. So, yeah, thanks for the recognition on that. That does, and you know, for people to notice things like that is always very special. So
So what was that
Yeah.
stat again, GG? How many minutes New Zealand went without a shot?
Oh, so there was a point in that second game on Sunday, from the 8.5 minute mark of the second period to until there was 1 minute and 13 seconds left in the game, where New Zealand did not register a single shot on net. Like over 27 minutes where New Zealand did not get a shot on net, and Australia got 35 shots on goal in that span. Just
wow,
ridiculous. And
So
when
you go, that Australian D, right? Working heaps well.
now we
And
do
when
have an insane forward check, though. I mean, I know obviously play on the team with them for the rush, but you know, people like Kate Tahima, Caitlin Malthana, the absolute grinder players that will give that relentless pressure on people, and you know, everyone does it, but they're two that stand out for me in terms of the forecheck, and it caused so many turnovers that it's just I don't think they really knew New Zealand had the composure enough to be able to handle it. Just out go relentless pressure.
Yeah,
I know on Saturday. I know on Saturday especially, they had such a hard time breaking out of their defensive end.
Yeah, I feel really sorry for like teams going up against like Kate Tahima, who represents South Australian rugby. I'm like, she, like, both her, Caitlin Multhane, like Nat Ayres, like it's hard work. It's going to be hard yakka to try to get the puck out of the zone.
Yeah, Kate is insane. She's built different. She's like a complete insane human that you do not want to come up against her. She doesn't see you there. She'll like go straight through. You're invisible to her. If she's got her eyes on the prize, which is the puck, like, good luck to you. That's all I'm saying.
Was it you at one stage, GG, that said that New Zealand basically went back to playing rugby in that second game?
No, that wasn't me. That might have been you were commentating with Mel. Maybe it was Mel. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know rugby well enough, to be honest.
To be able to go, yeah.
Yeah. Final little thing. We've got the schedule up here, and this is just an eye test to see if you need glasses. But is there a game or a series that you're kind of have got circled in the calendar?
Not particularly. I mean, this year is probably, I don't know, this is the most fire I've had in my belly for a long time for hockey, and especially for the AWIHL. And I think that all stems from joining the national team, if I'm honest. And the fact that we've got such a good culture with the rush at the moment, and, you know, all the girls are showing up, everyone's got the buy-in. We're all very supportive of each other. I think I'm just ready to take on any team at any time. Like, I just can't wait for this season. Every single game.
It's going to be a great season.
Of course, we want to beat Melbourne, if I had to say one.
I was going to say rivals. Adelaide's typically rivals with Melbourne.
Somehow they just worm their way into winning gold, or like it's just like, how did that
They
even
are-
happen? We were supposed to get that.
I mean, the Melbourne Ice Women are the most successful senior hockey team in Australia.
Yeah, and that's
Doesn't
the thing.
matter, men's, women's, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And like when it comes down to crunch time, they can pull it out the bag at the end of the day. But they do also have a really nice ice arena, which does help.
That's true.
Yeah, and they don't even have to look for imports because they have a lot of being in Melbourne. Obviously, the population and people travel there for like uni and whatnot. So they don't have the hard yards of having to find the imports and build. They've got people there that they can be like, hey, you want to play hockey? Yeah, cool, I'll come play hockey.
So
saying
before
that
we
though,
go,
Adelaide's a pretty cool place. So
yeah, it is. Everyone should come to Adelaide.
So before we go, JJ, I'd just like to give a shout out to the New Zealand team as well. They played very well over both games, and especially to their team management. They were very helpful with us with information regarding the team. Lots of fun facts, which certainly came in handy with that very interesting, to say the least, third period, where there were more interesting facts than hockey at some stages. So, Kirsty, what's a fun fact about you?
Oh God, I never got fun facts. A fact is that I guess I've been able to represent both Great Britain and Australia in my lifetime now.
do you have a football team that you follow, Kirsty?
My dad will probably kill me if I don't say Birmingham City, but I'd say Birmingham City.
Because
what about
I
you?
Myself, I'm a Brighton fan.
Brighton? Okay.
Yeah, Brighton.
Wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, because I'm a part owner of Lewis FC down in the 7th Division of England football, so they're the closest Premier League
That's a
team.
fun fact. That's a way better fact than mine.
Because I know GG's, we had a bit of a talk about the fun facts on Sunday night, and some of them were very interesting and caused a bit of debate in the GG household.
Yeah, no, I absolutely detest it when you go to an event and they're like, name a fun fact about yourself, or like 2 truths and a lie. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to.
I'll be like, I'll just lie. They're all lies.
Yeah,
They're not fun.
yeah. It's so. Yeah. Anyway, some people love it, and that's great. But I'm like, what is something interesting about myself? It's like, that's.
I've been put on the spot, and being asked that is always hard. Like, you're like, what can I say right this second?
What about you, Eric?
We know that. Oh yeah.
Can't forget about you.
Well, fun fact, I stayed across the road from an ice hockey arena in Portland, Oregon, which is where I discovered hockey, and I didn't even know there was a stadium there when I booked it.
Wow. So it was fate. It was meant to be to get you into the hockey realm.
Yeah. We were talking about stats, and New Zealand actually put out some interesting stats, the New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation, during the week. Their youngest registered player is 4 years, 2 months, and 9 days old. Their oldest player is 81 years old, 2 months, and 3 days.
Wow.
That's good. There's hope for me then.
There's 61 nationalities playing hockey in New Zealand. 41% of players are born overseas. And the most common first name, is Ben. There's 39 Bens in New Zealand hockey.
Wow.
That is so random.
Where did you pull these from? Did you remember them, or are you reading them off a sheet? Because that's impressive.
No, they made a Facebook post after the game, and I just remembered it and just read it off the screen then.
Nice.
But there were lots of fun facts. If anyone missed the games, they asked them on the Thought Fox Media YouTube channel. Lots of fun facts there. Yeah, it was very interesting. I hadn't watched a lot of AWIHL over the last couple of years, so my apologies to a certain Adelaide Rush player.
Yeah, I'll never forgive
Well,
you.
you're now coming back into it when Adelaide's on the rise, right? You missed the part where they were in the doldrums. Now they're back up.
He wasn't in the trenches with us.
I was
fair weather fan. Come on, you gotta love a fair weather fan.
I was in that trenches that year that Adelaide didn't win a game, and what I liked about the team, even though they didn't win a game that particular year, at the end of the season they were still happy to be there. They were still trying to build themselves up for the next season. You know, they were still very positive the entire time. You know, it's, as you mentioned earlier, it's hard getting beaten 15-0 and that sort of
but
stuff.
To be fair,
coming back,
you know, it's that type of perseverance after those games that really builds your character and builds your team and what you want it to be about and how you approach certain things, and especially to have, you know, people support us through the hard times as well as the good. It means a lot, and it helps us grow as a team and really builds our character. That's for sure.
So bring on the A-Dub and bring on Worlds next year in Dunedin.
Yes, can't wait.
Yeah,
if I get selected.
Any final thoughts before we sail off into it's already, the sun is set here, but
no, I do want to do a special mention just quickly to yourself, Gordon, and I know Andrew McDougall's not part of Hockey Hype anymore, but just thanks to you guys for, you know, setting up this type of podcast and just not just bringing attraction to the sport in general, but to women's sport and supporting us across the board of AWIHL and the national women's team, and, you know, giving us exposure. So I really appreciate that, and I want to thank you for that as well.
No, it's a privilege. No, thank you. And make sure as well, I think Andrew is still going to be doing, I've seen some graphics come up, so make sure you give him a follow. Diggy Designs is his handle on Instagram. And he does the Pride and Puck podcast as well, which is a really important part of the hockey space as well. So make sure you give him a follow in those places as well.
There's plenty of room for all of us.
Yeah, no, definitely. So no, but thank you for coming on the podcast, the show tonight, and I hope the questions weren't too challenging for you. But
thanks for having me. I struggle with
really
speaking sometimes, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you let your play speak for itself on the ice for sure. And we're looking forward to seeing you this season, the Adelaide Rush this season, and all the teams this season, including the Melbourne Ducks in their 6-game induction season as well.
Induction season? Did you really do that?
Yes, get your ducks in a row. But yeah, make sure you're following the teams on socials, the league on socials. The AWIHL is a new Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Give us a follow, like, and subscribe if you like. You're your own person. Do whatever you like. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But yeah, thank you. Thanks once again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no dramas. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Sean. And we will see you. Thank you all for listening. We will see you next time. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, and you'll be able to see a replay on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel as well. But for Eric Brooks, Sean O'Connor, and Kirsty Venus, I'm Gordon Goodenough, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
See ya.